in Hung, and you go from there because Scout and Tarzan, I've mentioned this too many times, but doesn't seem like too
The
much of a
same
viable
bands.
angle. Oh, it is the exact same bands. Oh, we're gonna get a
Exact
vibe
same
B1
bands.
here, and then we're gonna. Can we get a Zaya, please?
That would be pretty hype. Right now,
Announcing very
LNG just
nicely.
say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And LGD say, I want the salty run back so far. All right. Well, if you're going to go out, you go out blazing.
I mean, LNG, they have a lot of options available in this bottom lane. Are we just gonna get another Lucian Nami? I mean, you could
I hope
deny
we get
the
a salty
Zaya.
run back, honestly.
Zaya into Tristana and Elise is pretty good as he has so much gap closer. Oh, it's going to be the Zeri. Oh my god, Zeri, Lulu, Lucian, Nami. There's no way.
Given overall the meta picks here, everything left on the board, that Zeri locked in should be that Lulu locking in right behind. But something that was banned in the second phase here, they're saying that LNG, we can wait for the second phase for the Lulu. We can go something else. We're going to grab the LeBlanc for Scout here.
Yeah, this LeBlanc has been making her way back into the meta, and from the recent games in LPL, every LeBlanc has had an amazing performance. I believe specifically from Yago, he went like 7, maybe 16 kills with 1 death. Man was struggling to keep BLG in the game, but in the very end, they still won. Paired alongside the Vi, they are going to have so much mobility in these skirmishes. And LGD, I mean, they locked in the Jinx once again. We need Peel for this Jinx. We need to get her out of these sticky situations where we're gonna get a repeat.
It's a LeBlanc vibe though. Like you can't, there's no getting out of that. I'm a bad ADC, but even I know that. And at this point, the fact of the matter is you're facing against Scouts LeBlanc, who is almost at a 70% win rate on the pick in 50 games. And you're looking at an LNG squad who has just come off an incredible mid to late game, and they're gonna look for an early game finish, at least early game snowball here with LP as a little bit of an insurance policy. I like the idea that LGD are saying it was just purely down to execution. We can reach that bar yet again. That first 18 minutes gave us something of promise, but their focus down bot side here for this second phase is going to be Prio, because you get that Rakan, the Lulu band away. Now you get the Nautilus band by LNG. We'll see what their final band is going to be as the Jax also joins the table.
I'm expecting LG to just pick the Annie away and put that towards bottom lane, and that is going to also provide a lot of setup for Tarzan and Scout to play off. But with the Cassandra getting blind for Xiaoshu in that top lane, it is going to be a massive counter for Zika for this game too. Let's see what he decides to go with, because the Gwen is currently getting hovered, but we've seen a lot of Kennen as well in patch 13.5, which a lot of these top laners in the LPL has been enjoying a lot.
Counter pick support is what's on the table right now for LGD. I can appreciate that one, but it is the Gwen lock in, and it was an instant hover from Zika. So I wonder if this is something he's got cooked up to deal with Xiaoshu's Cassante. But we said Xiaoshu, when he's on that Cassante, it looks real nice. See if this is the game that unlocks him the rest of the team. Final pickup here, looking maybe for some engage, looking for some early push and roll, and it's the Leona. So more forward engage here, a lot of lockdown for LNG.
I have a feeling that Jinjiao is gonna lock in the Tahm Kench once again. But to be fair, in this game too, for the bottom lane 2v2, the Leona does struggle a little bit into Tahm Kench when it comes to the laning phase. But I'm not the biggest fan of Jinjiao playing this Tahm Kench because he just gets exposed for all of his mispositioning in these team fights. And LGD, they have to play a 4v5 when their support gets caught out. But hopefully, you get to see an easier time for this Jinx and Tahm Kench in the bottom lane.
And I just love it for LNG. It is literally picture perfect for what we set up. Tarzan, Scout, Hung, they are the trio. They walk around. Zika LP, we'll see you when we see you. But it is about this trio domineering the entire map when LNG look good. And they have such a strong setup for that. First and foremost, Tarzan, Scout on the Vi and the LeBlanc. But early roams from Hung on the Leona can be so crucial. And I'm really looking for LGD's response here, I guess, on the map. That execution needed for this Elise so early on.
Yep, we are going to have a bit of a different type of matchup for this top lane, which is the only thing that's changed for the side of LGD, as they've decided to double down and just run back with their game 1 composition, where we did see a relatively even early game. I would even say a slight lead on this Jinx, but we saw that when it did come to the 5v5, just the positioning matters so much when you do have the double ADC composition locked in. I'm assuming they're going to go Kraken again, not having the Gale Force available. So if LNG is able to take advantage of these missteps, I mean, Hung is on something even more scary, the Leona. You don't have to land those Qs. You just press ult and press E and you're stuck.
Yeah, you can just find all the lockdown you could ever possibly look for. But Tarzan at that level 6 mark, Scout at that level, well, any mark after level 3, really. Just looking for that connection in the 2-on-2. But it is about Tarzan putting up a show here as we hit the riff for our game number 2. Can LNG squeak out a 2-0 easy, clean victory over LGD? Will LGD be those underdog spoilers to finish out both teams on their last series of the spring split? We hear those Jaios. Beautifully done.
Oh my god, that was a really nice ward from Scout on the red buff, as we do know Meteor started the red buff in game 1, so that is definitely going to spot out the Elise, and LNG's bottom side is going to be aware of this, but LeBlanc getting locked in for this game too, definitely a big change up from the Talia, as she is able to have so much more mobility and escape from these cocoons that potentially can come from fog. So Meteor, he has to play even better than game 1 to get LGD ahead.
And remember, it was the early focus on mid lane where they were able to get a nice path on a Scout, get an early kill with the cocoon for Haichao, but they weren't able to kind of exceed that lead and put it anywhere else. See if Scout plays a little bit more reserved because of that, but specifically where Meteor wants to focus. We do get that opposite side start for both junglers. I believe last time Meteor started on the top side. This time maybe looking to give a little bit of love towards Xiaoshu.
But what if Meteor just does 2 camps to bot lane, and that is going to be the way to victory? True. Because we have Vi starting her own blue buff, where she is going to be a little bit late for the counter. Could be a viable pick for LGD to really get their game on.
And they need it. Again, we've talked so much about Meteor getting off the ground running, not only on the Elise pick, right? But it's a microcosm of what LGD need as a whole to be successful, because they don't thrive unless Meteor is thriving. I think we've seen really good performances from LPC. We've seen really good individual performances from Xiaoshu on the Kasantes, Haichao occasionally, but it all stems from Meteor facilitating a lot of those resources out onto the team or through himself. And that is where we've been lacking.
Yeah, a lot of these teams in the LPL, they live and die by the jungle, so Meteor having a very strong impact to the early game, especially locking in this Elise 2 games in a row. It does seem the Elise is going to slowly clear towards her red buff, potentially looking for a kill on the mid lane, but it is a LeBlanc. She's just going to run away. Well, Tarzan has made his way towards that bottom side, and you want your ADCs to be ahead in this game too.
If they can get anything for LP, that just immediately unlocks Hung to get around the rest of the map as well. So a nice early path from Tarzan to maybe get some of that going, but it looks like we're going to have that reverse in pathing here, as immediately pinging up towards this topside scuttle with no early pressure from Meteor down bot side. LG realized they've got to be going on topside path. Should go for the scuttle crab.
I'm surprised that Tarzan is going to go back towards his top side, as he perhaps could also play for Zika in this Gwen vs Kasante matchup, where if this Gwen gets out of hand, well, you're never going to have any side lane threat onto a champion that goes immune, because Haichao, even if you jump into his face, you have to jump into a little circle or you're gonna die if you do that.
You saw Tarzan actually go for his Gromp now. Should lose out on the Scuttle Crab. Meteor does take that one, actually going for the aggression with that level increase here. But it was Meteor trying to get something up there for Xiaoshu, who we've already talked about before. I know you were talking a lot about it, Kitty, is the performances for Xiaoshu on the Kasade look just different.
Oh, it barely missed.
And barely missing that cocoon, maybe trying to reminisce off of game number 1 a little bit for Meteor.
Did he dodge
Can't find it. Nice path. I believe he dodged it. And Tarzan looks like a menacing predator coming out of the bush here, Kitty.
Oh my god, the vision dodging
There's no way.
so
They don't have any pings.
Tarzan.
He always does this. This is why he is the newly crowned king of the jungle, Tarzan. He'll get first blood for LNG.
He did it in game 1, and he's doing it in game 2. How does he know every single ward that LGD places? This wave is also slow pushing to Xiaoshu, so he needs his jungler to bail him out here. Well, it's frozen actually. So really good gank from Tarzan. He was even holding onto the Q to stop Xiaoshu from crashing away.
This is the response, though.
Oh, didn't miss.
LP in a little bit of trouble. They got the CC, though, and Meteor needs to be a little bit careful, able to dodge out with the repel, but the gank goes wide. They needed this, Kitty.
We didn't get anything but 2 summoners, the Ghost and the Ignite, and LNG is just going to get away scratch-free. Also picking up that wave in bottom as well. So overall dub for the side of LNG, but this gank from Tarzan was just so perfectly played. He was holding onto his Q just to predict that dash, but he ended up standing in front. And with Xiaoshu getting so low, he just dies as the tower doesn't kill off Tarzan here. And the bottom side with that repeat, with the response gank from Meteor, doesn't get anything either. So this Elise pick is already getting a little bit out-tempoed by Tarzan again.
Hi, Chow. A little bit lacking in that level advantage in mid as well. Scouts getting a bit of an advantage there. Meteor will have a little bit of a CS lead in jungle, though, at least. We'll see Tarzan maybe trying to make that not as much as possible, as Hung has been unleashed onto the map, and that is where the true terror comes from.
If you see Hung, Tarzan is definitely nearby, and Zika is level 6 now.
Meteor, run! Run! Those 8 legs, they can't go fast enough. You can't get up here fast enough either. Xiaoshu dodges out beautifully enough. The cocoon actually goes a little bit wide. Xiaoshu getting lower and lower, but surviving. Here's Jin Zhao. Zika is overextended now. He does have that miss. Gwen is a bit immune, but should be left out to dry. Zeka goes down. Meteor gets the kill. That's a much-needed gold for the jungler of LGD.
I really thought Tarzan was going to be the one dying due to Leona dropping the aggro, but it is going to be Zika falling as the Gwen. Xinjiao made it in time on this Tahm Kench and was able to save his top laner from getting killed a second time in this game. I mean, the 2 ADCs are kind of just chilling, but it does allow Xiaoshu in this matchup to breathe just a little bit, but is it going to be enough?
The only time will tell, really, as Jin Zhao still out on that roam. Should be a continuation for both these supports. We'll see how that dive broke down and how LGD actually were able to stop a lot of this aggression going through. Xiaoshu playing it really well.
Yeah, he did play really well, as the one ultimate did miss onto Xiaoshu, and that was the last bit of damage he needed to kill off this Cassante. Unfortunately, when both of your jungle and support are so low from keeping the tower, it is only the Gwen is a 1v3 situation, and he falls as a response as well. Elise does pick up the kill, which is relatively nice because she is your only AP source for this game too.
Yeah, it's actually so big, and having a little bit of a CS lead on top of that for Meteor. Now revisiting the mid lane against Scout. Scout still does have that flash, but it's something you want to get burned down. Dragon is on the table, has been for almost 3 minutes now. I'm wondering when we see that turn from this nice little advantage that LGD have. It looks like Meteor just wants to go for aggression.
They don't spot out Tarzan. He is going to start the red.
They see him.
I chose here first though.
Here comes LNG maybe, looking for the trigger pull.
Pink?
They did. Just making sure, all right? Just making sure they can't get it. Look, see? It worked.
Yeah, for sure. Tarzan is going to...
It's the extra aggression, all right? If you're not double pink warding to show your chadness, then what are you doing?
I'm sure Barrow will be very happy about the double pink wards getting dropped for that red buff, but that does secure Tarzan level 6, and that does open a lot of windows for LNG to play off now. But Meteor is hovering, but I believe so LNG knows.
It's just a mind game. It's like trying to figure out where the pieces go. He didn't get spotted. He didn't get spotted again. Tarzan just does this every time, and he's sneaking over to the bot side. I think Hung might have an angle here. He's not level 6, though. You got to be a little bit careful. Meteor feels like something is up. The flashes come through. Zenith Blade actually only connects on the Jin Zhao. He should get out of there, but Hung is in some trouble. LP should get some shots out, and Jin Zhao survives just barely with that gray health.
Barely, as the flashes for both supports do get burnt. Tarzan still holding onto his ultimate is going to mean that they are going to start this dragon, with them forcing out this little catfish in the bottom lane. But Tarzan is playing this game so cheekily. Is that even a word? He's a very cheeky jungler, to say the least. It's almost like a little monkey from the Tarzan movie. He just dodges every single vision so nicely, where Meteor did sense a game coming towards that bottom lane.
He just knows the paths. He knows the vines.
For sure. Ah!
Oh, hey, both times. I will just say, LPC a little bit earlier. We saw a lot of that last game as well. A little bit late Mega Death Rod. We at least get to see the cool animation go by, so that's always nice. Scout actually stopping Haichao's back here, just trying to delay as much as possible. We do have that Rift Herald on the map here for a little while, and now that that dragon is off the table, we have a kind of really off-centered timer, at least for both objectives, if they do take it right now. And looks like Tarzan LP moving up does mean they will.
Yeah, we have quite literally 5 members towards this Herald, as LP has noticed that the bottom lane of LGD has not moved, so they're just gonna go back and cash that wave, as LPC is trying to get at least 2 plates here, since LNG did commit a lot towards that top side. The Herald's even not gonna even get started.
Yeah, they didn't actually start
so
it.
I don't know what that macro play was from LNG, as they just lost a bit of minions in this bottom lane.
And you got that caster minion. There you go. It will be a little bit of securing of this wave under tower, but still 2 plates to LPC is pretty big, if I do say so myself, for a Jinx. See if he can actually cash in on that one. We actually see Meteor on his way to wrap around towards mid, bouncing between this mid and bot side. I think is the most important thing for Meteor, but finding an in is even more so. We saw what happened last time when they only had that 1 kill to speak of really early on. If they can up the tempo a little bit here as we crest 11 minutes.
I really enjoy what Freak did to the LeBlanc chain. Oh, he's not out!
Oh, that cease and desist connection goes right in Meteor. Meteor switches focus right onto Scout, though. It's split focus, and the Buster shot not enough. Scout gets a kill for mid lane.
Also the flash burn as well, so that was just very unfortunate, as Tarzan was able to manage to get his hands onto this Tristana even after burning the flash. So this Vi doing a lot in this early game, but something that caught me by surprise. Oh, finally caught the 2 pink ones. Well, good for you, LGD. Is Meteor gonna pull this gank off?
Oh, you see, they want more wards, all right? They want some more gold. There's actually a TP coming down from Scout down here, and they want to capitalize. Zenith Blade comes in, Hung tanking up, but there is the Devour from Jin Zhao. Should be getting him out of there. So back to mid for Scout, but an attempted defensive play actually from LNG.
I love how Scout is just willing to commit everything to save his bottom lane from losing. He skirmished 2 games in a row. He just TPs to bottom lane and gets nothing. But you know what? Respect. I like team players. Before Haichao died in that middle lane, however, I do want to point out that this LeBlanc is actually higher CS compared to Tristana, and I have been enjoying the change that Freak introduced to this LeBlanc, where her Q refunds mana now if she refunds, if she executes the minions. I think with that now implemented, LeBlanc has had a much better laning phase when it does come to the early game.
Let's see if Scout can, I guess he already has utilized that to his advantage. See if he can continue to do so, as we do have item completions coming out. Tarzan did get his Black Cleaver. We also have the Rift Maker up there for Zika. I wonder if you see a little bit of pressure around here. They have a minute and a half till Dragon, but a little bit of fight around Scuttle Crab potentially brewing here. Specifically looking at what Meteor and LGD can do in the downtimes, because right now it seems like LNG have complete control if objectives get started up. It's really about LGD trying to find something. Meteor getting his backstop yet again. He's got the Black Cleaver spike, and they have the CC. Hung with another little bit of set of CC. Meteor can't get out. No! LP shuts him out. And 4 members of LNG show bot lane. There's not much for LGD.
I have no idea where Jin Zhao used his ultimate. I thought Meteor could have lived, but unfortunately this Tahm Kench didn't have that ult available, and Tarzan spots the Elise backing and catches Meteor off guard. With this Elise, you wanted a base? Well, you can base faster now.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a quick back. I hope you don't mind a gray screen with that as well. And now, speaking of, they utilize that power spike so well, realizing they can get the cash out here. I don't even know how they knew that he was there, actually.
I don't think they knew. Tarzan just wanted to loop around like the banana combo, but they just fortunately spotted an Elise backing in the bush, and Hung had that extra move. First move on the Leona and lands a really beautiful ultimate, and also Zenith Blade onto the Elise where she wasn't able to get out, even burning the stopwatch and flash.
Oh my god! Woo! Oh man! Meteor, go ahead and take that back there, King. You gotta regroup and recoup. My goodness, Scout is doing some work here on these squishy members, and that's the beautiful thing for LNG. There are 3 of them. and easy pickings if Scout gets ahead. He already has that 1 kill now. Tarzan was looking for even more aggression back into the Dragon Pit. Should be LNG's second dragon of the game. Oh, they're not going to go for it. Got the collapse from LGD.
Collapse from LGD. They're going to start it themselves, actually, but they do spot it from LNG with that pink ward in the pit. You have Kraken available for LPC this time around. No Mythic in mid lane, though.
Yeah, Scout's coming with a newly completed Ludens. See if that maybe dissuades LGD. It looks like it has. There's a lot of ping from both teams onto this objective, and I don't think either one of them want to let it go without a fight. Meteor! It's Deja Vu! Oh my goodness,
Again?
he gets out with the repel onto it, but no, guess who's caught out now? The Devourer comes through. Meteor gets gunned down by LP. LPC got out at least, but Jin Zhao has been sacrificed to the LNG gods, and that is dragon number 2 for LNG.
I don't think that bit of the map is LGD side of the jungle. Tarzan has completely claimed that it's free real estate for this Vi and Leona, and Meteor dies a second time in the exact same spot.
That's actually insane, as LP using the jump over the wall beautifully to make sure the Meteor goes down. That second dragon will activate the Hex Rift here for us, and LNG continuing to put the pedal to the metal here, and Meteor feeling the brunt of that speed.
Yeah, this time around there was a ward that spotted out the Elise, so it wasn't completely blind, but LNG having all these items available, they were just first to the fire's height. Chal kind of just stared across the wall while Jin Zhao fell as a response, and it was going to be it is a 2-for-0 trade, and also the dragon going into Tarzan's hand where he has 100 KP at 16 minutes.
It's actually so incredible, as we've seen now back-to-back games where LNG are just firing on all cylinders, and that's how you want to finish out a season. As we've already said, this is the last series for both these two teams. Very different trajectories. And speaking of trajectories, it's all bot lane for LNG as LP picks up his 3rd kill of the game. They'll see if they can catch Meteor out. Meteor, just don't come here anymore. Just leave. It's not a place for spiders. They have spider traps. Oh my god, it looks like they put in catfish traps too. The exhaust does come through for Jin Zhao. He's still getting taken out of the tower. Another shot from the tower does mean Hung will go out of this one, but the re-engage from Tarzan set up with a spike from LP.
Well, bro, what are you doing? Your ADC is mid lane, and Meteor was nowhere near you, as you just saw Haichal die in Tarzan's hands. Oh my god.
Our observer had to do Scout so dirty right there.
Did he miss a cannon?
He missed both chains. That's what that replay was showing. That
no.
Honestly, if Scout hit both of the combos, Meteor was completely dead right there. But our observers love to show him dirty. We will see LNG actually focusing back up towards top side. Meteor is on his way, but it looks like it might not matter. Xiaoshu just kind of giving it up here. All out in. Here comes Meteor with the flash in. All out though. Zika getting low. Meteor wants to get one more. Uses the repel, doesn't have the combos, but finally gets one back. And Meteor gets a 2nd kill for LGD, but what has it wrought? It's a 3rd for Scout.
7 Darksteel stacks onto Scout now, as it was a 1-for-2 trade going towards the side of LNG. Hedgehog, this Tristana gonna get his first tower in the game, but this mid and ADC are way too accelerated for this Jinx to ever smell her 3-item spike.
Got a 3K lead here at 8.5 minutes. And it is nice for that first tower to go back to LGD, definitely hampering that lead a little bit more. But it is the Rip Tower now in the pocket of Tarzan. Bases burning here for LGD as another tower on the map will fall. And we'll see if they actually want to try to get down this tier 2 here with Tarzan and Scout now unlocked. This Vi LeBlanc combo is so violently deadly.
Yep,
and there's Hung, the 3rd bodyguard.
I feel like LNG, their support and jungle are just so perfectly synergized together. Scout is playing a little bit disrespectful here. He just W's in and doesn't care.
Trying to play with a little bit of flex of those muscles. Maybe even flexing himself into non-existence as LP. There's a scary spider right behind him, and he's walking straight into the jaws. See if they can get anything. Actually not going to pull the trigger here. LP playing pretty defensively, realizing there's not a lot of members gone for LGD. Should be a little bit careful here. We did have second item spikes coming across for major carries for LNG. That Shadow Flame completed for Scout, as well as the Runans for LP. So while we were looking at the kind of trio, the kill squad walking around, now those team fights are going to start getting a lot scary, and that's the bread and butter of LNG. They use this trio to find advantages, and then LP is right there like a gunner in the dark to take everybody down in the end game.
Yeah, now that LP is on the Zeri for Game 2, 4-0, even stronger compared to Game 1. As LGD, they just decided to draft the exact same thing, and the exact same thing is happening once again, even worse, might I add. As they did have that lead in Game 1, but this Game 2, they're bleeding out of existence, as it's just not gonna work.
It was like a 3K lead, now it's a 5K lead. They're just finding every advantage possible. It was a nice use of that Rift Herald and the crash of the second tier tower up there, perfectly in time now to get essentially the reset here, bring Scout back down to this dragon fight that's spawning in about 10 seconds and would be a sole point for LNG.
Zuko picks up the Shadow Flame now, and he is making his way towards Dragon. Snip, snip.
You need to take the Snip Snip Express. That Shadow Flame is actually going to be so big to deal with. The only tanks on this team, which are Xiaoshu and Jin Zhao. We'll see the Dragon setup now. What are LGD's win conditions here? Because it's going to be a little bit difficult.
You just have to play front to back. You need LPC to get those resets online. Even Tristana was extremely good with how she can jump everywhere. But all it takes is one kill, and perhaps LGD can flip back into the game. But Tarzan, he's gone!
God, LPC gets sniffed out of existence, and so does LGD. LNG just methodically eviscerate LGD one atom at a time, it feels like, where it's a clean ace. LNG get the dragon, they get everything they came for.
It's 14-2 at 21 minutes, and your main two carries just get instantly popped from the side of LNG. I mean, this game, it is definitely a big... Didn't have time to react. I didn't react to it, so how is LPC gonna react to it?
We gotta see, this is insane. Literally, LPC gets sniped out of the middle of his team.
Q from Scout with an E, and he's gone. Tarzan didn't even make it with that Q, but without your ADC, and obviously the Gwen tipping everyone with that Shadow Flame in hand, there is just no damage from any LGD member, and they aren't able to play up the resets anymore.
And now LNG, 8,000 gold in the lead, looking in this top side of the map, just looking for more picks. His third item has come up for LP now as well. And the Hex Gates will bring them to LGD's doorstep very, very quickly. You can see this is LNG's game plan here. Just continue to look for picks as much as possible. That cease and desist makes it so nice little devour. But Jin Zhao, again, when he does that, leaves himself out. And that's a fried catfish. If I've ever seen one. Not going to go down just yet, though. Some rockets, mega death rocket blast out from Tarzan. The Ultra Shock Laser not going to connect. And luckily, Jin Zhao makes it out alive. I do wonder if LNG want to go ahead and pull the trigger on a Baron. Looks like a little bit of pressure from Xiaoshu should make that not a case.
Do you have a lot of vision towards this top side jungle as they do spot out Hung just sitting very quietly waiting for LGD to walk in? No vision on the Baron, however, so Tsuka and LP can just start it 3v5 style.
They say, you want this, come get it. As now all 5 members of LGD are collapsing here. That's a jump in from Hangzhou, and he just died because of that big backline access, and Scout finds one. It's LP that finds 2, and Hangzhou, again, the only one left, is not left for long. Aces aplenty for LNG as they look to take a 2-0 over LGD to finish their season.
LNG looking to secure that second position up against EDG, and what a showing from the mid jungle and ADC of this team. They are very deserving to be in that round 4, and I can see them doing great in the playoffs.
It has all come together for LNG. The trio of Tarzan, Scout, and Hong, they are looking as deadly as ever. And they take a 2-0 over LGD in both teams' final series of the LPL regular season here in spring. And what a way to do it. They are on form, and they are looking terrifying going into playoffs. They've set themselves up beautifully. Now it's just what EDG get done in their next series.
I love this mid lane meta for Scout right now. He just looks so comfortable on whatever champion
He
he's
really
drafted.
does.
And the enemy ADC for any team that LNG faces just gets evaporated in these team fights. And I'm really excited to see what Scout has in store for us in the playoffs, because LNG looking very stable with their recent performances already.
They really are, and it's about the piece that it was built around. Tarzan really coming into his own last year, probably the brightest point on the team, right, for LNG in their runs, in their attempted run in summer at least. And now to see that they were able to rebuild around him with some powerhouses in the likes of Scout, right, and the fact that they're able to get so much strength from Zika, bringing back a little bit of that kind of would want to from Zika and seeing that growth from the player himself. But LP and Hong, I feel like have been such an integral piece. If you don't have bot lane